what is up, you guys? So this chapter 840 of One Piece came out yet once again early today, but much like last week, this chapter is all about the info on the Vince Motes, all about the Germa. So we got some more insight onto the clones and to how people in the Germa 66 were genetically altered, which I guess you can kind of say was predictable anyway. However, we got some reveals in this chapter, major reveals. One, Vegapunk and I guess Judge were once working side by side. They got found out. Their experimentations got found out, but I guess by the war government. They both got locked up, but somehow Judge managed to escape. By the way, Judge should have been in a mental institution for thinking the way he does, especially when it comes to like Sanji. Man, oh man, does he have a personality complex or what? But I will say this: this is kind of like foreshadowing why Sanji is actually better than most of the Vince Smokes in terms of character. In terms of power scaling, that's a different story altogether. He bested Yanji, yes. He actually kicked Niji in this chapter for what happened to Cosette, but the most predictable part is Ichigo being a little bit strong. Well, I don't know if he's stronger because, well, number one, he came up from the Sanji, but again, Sanji is observation haki, so I don't know how he didn't see that coming. But he got kneed right in the spine, which looks painful as all hell. Again, Yanji's long-winded explanation on the clones was kind of predictable, but more info. We do get to know that Vegapunk was locked up. I know if that means he's locked up still, considering the fact that he was once a Punk Hazard, so I'm not too sure about that. Maybe. Well, I don't know if he was ever a Punk Hazard, but I wasn't. But we do know there's some connection there. And now the whole thing about the backstory of Sanji, I know a lot of people are like torn because they want to know what happened to Luffy and Cracker. But listen, remember this is the year of Sanji, so we have yet to get the flashback. So this looks like this is the kickstart to the flashback. And from what I've seen already, a couple of chapters ago when we saw Sanji locked up, now we kind of understand why that is. Everybody was being trained and examined from the time they were kids. Obviously, the four of the bros made it. Sanji was tested to be nothing but a complete dud in the eyes of the Vince Motes. But we know what Sanji how things turn out for Sanji. But back then, it's a whole different beast. In fact, the final panel it was really an emotional thing because Sanji was he was actually regretting actually being born in the first place because how disappointed Judge was, and that to me is probably the worst thing about it. On top of that, we don't really know what happened to Sanji's mum, other than the fact she already passed away. So we don't know how that went down. But it's Sanji once again, do what he likes to do. That's cook for other people. In this case, animals, because he's still cooking for rats, and that's where Judge gets pissed off because he realizes that's where Sanji's lacking because he's acting more and more like human, like he should, but it's not the Vince Motes and the Germa's mentality at all. They want to be nothing but mindless slaves, especially when it comes to the way Yanji was explaining the clones. Even though they are clones and it takes a couple of years, I mean possibly about 5 years to make a new one, the bottom line is they are treating nothing more than disposable tools, and I don't know what they're going to use the clones for at all, other than probably to raise hell all over the East Blue. But that's what they're trying to take over anyway, so I don't understand why Sanji feels manipulated into this, because if I was Sanji, I wouldn't trust him any further I can throw him. So once again, they're kind of tying up Sanji, saying, listen, if you put up a front, look what we're going to do to your cook. Obviously going on and saying you make a perfect couple. So, and then once again, they're not feeling bad for Cosette at all. I said, if we know you liked her this much, we'd have not just a face black and blue, but a whole body. That's like, okay, domestic violence taken way too far. And I guess it's Oda doing everything in his power to make most of the Vince Smokes detestable. However, I will say this: the flashback kind of made it seem that Rejiu is not only a better person, but also she's not all that bad when it comes to Sanji. Now, in fact, the whole thing about Reiju actually laughing at Sanji is nothing more than an act to try to think that to try to stop them from bullying her, and you can understand why. But again, it's still fucked up. But it's I think Oda's throwing that in there intentionally to make us actually relate to Reiju a little bit out of the rest of the Vince Smokes. And again, she's probably the most popular Vince Smoke siblings besides Sanji, by the way. But I think now, okay, the wheels are in motion. At some point, I think there's going to be a betrayal. There has to be. I don't know if something's going to happen to where she actually tells the story, because that's the only way they're going to find out about the key. Keep that in mind too. We don't know what's happened with the. We don't know what's happened with that Luffy and Cracker. I don't think that's going to be real until after the flashback, and then we're going to go for the wedding. But Sanji got a massive beatdown by HG. I don't know if that explains to him. I don't know if that explains the power scale a little bit. Now we come to find out that each of the Vince Smokes were genetically altered. I think that means Sanji as well, but Sanji's turned out more human than the rest. So I don't know what's going to happen by the end of this arc. What I do know, I think this kind of sets up Sanji to actually take on either Judge or EGG if nothing's done about the Vince Smokes before then, because that's the way it's set up to me. So obviously Sanji's obstacle for him to overcome. Obviously, no, we have to know what happened to after the flashback. I don't know if it's going to last another chapter, but this was early release, so I don't know if we're going to get another one. I don't know if Sanji's the way Oda's producing this right now. Yes, it's the year of Sanji, but you have to remember we still have the wedding to go through, and you can kind of put two and two together and see why Sanji left. The only reason we don't know is how. Maybe we'll find out in the next chapter. I hope, but that's it. Very information based on the Vince Smokes. Yes, it is the year of Sanji, so you can kind of feel how this is going to affect Sanji now in the past and now in the present as well. So I can't wait to see what happens next. That's it from me. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like this video if you did. I appreciate that. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. For more One Piece. Bye.